If I walked you into a high school cafeteria, where would you sit? Would you sit with the jocks? Would you sit with the nerds? Would you sit with the princesses? Hey, Obadiah, those are not really fair categories. Well, they just did a really interesting piece of research at the University of Texas, Austin, where they have updated the hierarchy of high school subgroups. Yeah, the jocks are still there, but what about the anime kids? What about the goths and the emos? What about the normies? Where would you categorize yourself? Well, that's one of the things I love about Matthew 9 is that if you look at it, we're kind of getting like this cross section of all these different people that fit into a bunch of different categories. Let's take a look at a couple of them. Paralyzed guy and his friends, the Pharisees, tax collectors and disreputable characters, John's disciples, a woman who'd been sick for years, a couple of blind guys. Now, in the middle of all of this, Jesus gets in a little tussle with the Pharisees. And what does he tell them? He's not here for the healthy, he's here for the sick. Now, here's the one thing that I think every single person, including the Pharisees, that Jesus interacts with in Matthew chapter 9 have in common. They're all sick. That's the thing, dude. Whether it's you or me or the jocks or the Pharisees or the paralyzed guy or whoever it is that we're talking about, whether we are willing to admit it or not, we are all sick. We all have a need. Now, when Jesus looked out at the crowds full of those needs, how did he feel? It says his heart was broken. With the exception of the Pharisees, everybody who comes to Jesus in Matthew chapter 9 knows that they've got a need. The sick woman knows that she's sick. John's disciples have questions. What does Jesus do? He answers questions. He heals the sick woman. When it comes to the tax collectors, he just hangs out with them a little bit because nobody will do that. He's a friend to people that have no friend. So here's my question to you today. Seriously, what do you need? What is it? And are you willing to take your need, whatever it is, to Jesus? Can you right now look at Jesus and say, hey, Jesus, I'm sick. Here's what's wrong with me. I need some help. Because just like Jesus did for those people in Matthew 9, he's going to meet you today right where you need him.